ask the President about President Xi from China potentially attending or not attending. We have reports saying that he's not expected to attend the G20 summit. Does that complicate the plans to try to facilitate a meeting between President Biden and President Xi? Do you now anticipate that that kind of a meeting would more likely take place at the APEC meeting in San Francisco? And have you had any communication with the Chinese government about whether he would be attending that meeting?
So as it relates to his attendance, President Xi's attendance to G20, I would leave that to to his spokesperson to answer that question, not for me to answer. Look, the president has said multiple times that he is looking forward to continuing his engagement and conversation with President Xi. I don't have anything to preview as to when that's going to happen. But look, this is, I'll just let the president's words stand for himself. He spoke about it during his press conference at Camp David. You heard him speak of it just moments ago. He's looking forward to having that conversation, continuing that ongoing engagement. As far as President Xi's participation or attendance, that's just really for his government to speak to.
Just following on from that, Secretary Raimondo had a longish trip there. She was in multiple cities and spoke multiple times. I know you were asked about this uninvestable comment, but just looking back, would you assess the outcome of her meetings? She said that she spoke about needing to draw a hard line on some of the issues. I mean, do you feel like these visits by cabinet members have been successful? Or, is the U.S.-Chinese relationship still in trouble?
So I'll say this, and she's been speaking to these last couple of days. I think she's been doing interviews. I saw her, I believe, just moments ago on MSNBC doing an interview on this. And so I would certainly, she had the experience, so I would certainly let her speak to her trip. But I'll say this, no president has put the United States, and you've heard us say this many times, in a stronger position to outcompete China than President Biden. And managing, and I think she has said this too in her interviews, managing that intense competition requires intense diplomacy. That's what you've been seeing from this administration. That's what you've been seeing from these events. And we have never viewed these trips as about deliverables or particular policy outcomes. We see this as it being incredibly important to have those conversations, to make sure we have those diplomatic conversations, and they are going to be intense. And that's okay. That is part of this process. As far as it relates to her trip, I'm going to let the Department of Commerce speak directly to that. She's been very vocal, as I said, has done a couple of interviews. I know she had a media availability, I believe not yesterday, the day before, when she was in China, so certainly would point you to that. But again, this is about intense diplomacy. We understand this. That's what competition requires. That's what it means to manage these types of relationships. We welcome it, and we think it has been important to move forward in that direction.
On China.